What is up, people? So I got a really popular request over here. Now this is an Instagram reel featuring TechBurner, who is a couple of million YouTuber, tech YouTuber. But let's see from the beginning what he's saying.
ऐसे पता है कहते हैं कि जो लोग ज़्यादा साइंस और टेक्नोलॉजी में इन्वॉल्व होते हैं उनका रुझाव भगवान की तरफ थोड़ा कम हो जाता है. Do you believe in God?
All the scientists I've met, they all believed in God.
Ah man, all the scientists I've met, they all believed in God. He's not aware of Richard Feynman, Richard Dawkins, who was a public atheist, Stephen Hawking, Neil deGrasse Tyson. Now, Neil deGrasse Tyson does not like calling himself an atheist. His public rhetoric is all that of an agnostic, but based on what he has said, everything makes it clear that he is an agnostic atheist in the same way that I am. So I would say the error that he's making is clearly an appeal to personal incredulity. Hey, I don't know any atheist scientists, so they probably don't exist. That's what he's saying. That's appeal to personal incredulity. Hey, I don't know this, so this may not exist.
They took inspiration from our ancient cultures. अभी जैसे Oppenheimer एक picture है.
My God.
उसने और कोई book तो नहीं पढ़ी. Why was he reading Bhagavad Gita? He was reading spiritual books. Na? And anybody who reads na. And
और कोई book नहीं पढ़ी. He's again appealing to his being unaware of what other books Oppenheimer must have read. I'm sure he read many other books on Eastern spirituality, many Buddhist books. I'm sure he's read that. And this one thing he said about the Bhagavad Gita has been glorified to such an extent that we think that that is the only spiritual book he's ever read. In another way, that's also an appeal to the authority of people like Oppenheimer, and saying that, hey, if he drew inspiration from our scriptures, that means there's something great in our scriptures.
also Matrix जो पिक्चर बनी है उसमें असतोमा सदगमय क्यों बज रहा है एंड में.
It's like every time you hear some Sanskrit word somewhere in the world, there are people like him who will be like, oh hey, it's getting worldwide attention, and that's what probably happened. But dude, Matrix takes inspiration from many different Eastern spirituality things, right?
जितने मैं मिला हूँ next level हो सके और मेरी religious. All successful people I've met have not met any single atheist. That
Successful people cannot be atheist. Forget Western scientists. Have you met Javed Akhtar? He is a public atheist. You want Indian scientists? C.V. Raman was openly agnostic. He was a non-believer. So it's like just because TechBurner hasn't met whoever he's talking about, he thinks they don't exist.
was successful. I don't know why.
Don't know why. Appeal to personal incredulity. One more thing that I should probably point out is that people generally don't publicly declare that they are an atheist. People will publicly declare that they are atheist because that means, especially if they're someone who requires an audience, someone who's trying to please a lot of people. So saying what they like to hear is advantageous to you. It's the same reason that in the US, presidents have always been religious. It's because the voters believe that you have to be religious to have any morals. They want that in their president. It's the religious people who are in the majority right now and who are in power. And so people don't, even though they are an atheist, they just don't publicly say it. There are a few that do. And I showed you a couple right now. But you don't really hear of them for this reason also. And he's probably also saying this because that will please the people who are listening to him. He has realized that the majority audience that he gets believes things along these lines. So saying what they like to hear would be like pleasing an audience. He may not truly believe everything he said. Just want to add that to next video.
एक मिनट रुकिए. कोई दोस्त है आपका? कोई तो होगा. एक से ज़्यादा भी हो सकते हैं. क्या आपको पता है कि वो आपके लिए इतने खास क्यों हैं? तो स्पिरिचुअल विजडम ये कहती है कि आपके जो दोस्त होते हैं ना, वो कोई और नहीं बल्कि आप ही के पिछले जन्म के या तो आपके भाई होते हैं या बहन होते हैं या आपके पार्टनर होते हैं या कोई ना कोई ऐसे करीबी होते हैं जिनके साथ आपने अपने प्रीवियस बर्थ में अपनी लाइफ स्पेंड की है. और ये सोल्स जो हैं वो इस जन्म में आती हैं आपको हेल्प करने के लिए. तभी तो आपने देखा होगा ना कि ना हम उन्हें जानते हैं पहले से.
See, you know what he's done here? Let's go to a fallacy card. He said that people you meet are yourself in previous lives. Now that's an extraordinary claim with no evidence, and also it's an untestable claim. How do you test and find out if any of what he says is true? not only he's making a claim that is untestable and extraordinary, he's making conclusions out of it.
खून का रिश्ता है, फिर भी ऐसा लगता है कि यही लोग हैं जो दुनिया में हमें सबसे ज़्यादा समझते हैं, है ना? तो आज से, बल्कि आज से नहीं, अभी से अपने सारे दोस्तों को थैंक यू बोलिए और उनके लिए हमेशा अपने मन में ग्रेटिट्यूड रखिए.
Okay, see, that's a conclusion that is made from his untestable claim. It doesn't follow. I will say that the conclusion is still a good one, that you should treat everyone well, you should treat others well, but it's not because they could be you from a past life. Treat people well because that is the same way you would want them to treat you. You want to live in a society where people treat everyone else as equals, and if you're part of that society, then you should do the same thing too.
Quantum entanglement. In an entangled system, two seemingly separate particles can behave as an inseparable whole. One cannot be fully described without the other. But think about it, isn't that precisely the notion of Shiva and Shakti or yin and yang? When the Gita talks of one underlying reality called Brahman, it is saying that all phenomena in the world are manifestations of a fundamental oneness.
Oh my god, like seriously bro, this is author Ashwin Sanghi, and man, I even said this in the previous video. I don't know if some of the videos I'm seeing are actually serious or if they're just troll videos. This sounds like a troll video. This sounds like someone making a video on that as a caricaturized version of what these kinds of people say. I know how serious he is with what he's saying. Anyway, he's making an extraordinary claim. He's making a false analogy because he's just finding some dichotomy from religion and relating that to the yin and yang, whatever. Yeah, he has no reason to do that. He hasn't justified it at all. Black and white fallacy.
Our sages knew that we live in an ocean of...
How do they know? How did they know? You can only know things based on evidence.
Energy and consciousness. Bohr, Heisenberg, Schrödinger, the very
appealing to authority. I think I marked that already.
pioneers of quantum theory had read Vedanta. Our sages did not have sophisticated laboratories, but they had something just as powerful, perception, or the ability to enter a deep state of universal interconnectedness.
What is that shit? It's just word salad. Whatever you're saying is word salad. There's no need to confuse people just to get knowledge. You can actually be simple and do something honestly that other people can also understand. This is a word salad. Oh, we're getting all the fallacies today.
The point of departure between spirituality and science is this. One believes that the underlying reality of the universe can only be understood through perception. That when the rational mind is quietened, the intuitive mind awakes.
Seriously? You have to shut down your rational mind to understand things about the universe. So, without any science being there in the world, we'd have knowledge to produce all this technology to enable me to talk to thousands of you right now. Yeah? Is that what you're saying? Perception, right?
Physics, on the other hand, wants to understand that same underlying reality through experimentation and the rational mind. From Aristotle all the way to the 19th century, the term natural philosophy was used instead of the word science. There was a reason for it. A good scientist must be a philosopher, and a good philosopher must also be a scientist.
Complete bullshit. Sure, science is a subset of philosophy, but philosophy does not require science. You don't need to be a scientist to be a philosopher. That's it for this video. I'll see you in the next one.